everybody, I am Jared Clark with Airguns of Arizona. Today we're going to be taking a look at arguably the world's most advanced airgun that has ever been made, and that rifle is the Daystate Delta Wolf. The Delta Wolf has an interchangeable barrel system and 4 different calibers that can be swapped in a matter of minutes, and then you can use the computer on board in a matter of seconds to change the power levels and the shots per fill that you would get within each respective caliber. This gun is an incredible piece of engineering. It's a multi-caliber platform that has the ability to dictate projectile speed to the computer, talks to the chronograph, makes all the necessary adjustments for you without needing any tools or wrenches. This gun is unlike anything that has ever been available before, and we're gonna really highlight all the features it has today, as well as show you how to manipulate that computer to really maximize the potential of this advanced piece of technology here. I hope that you enjoy the video. I hope you stay till the end. Let's get after it. We're gonna go ahead and do a quick unboxing of the Daystate Delta Wolf for you. First thing you can see is this nice hard case that it comes in, has latches on it. And one of my favorite things about the hard case is it has room to accommodate a scope once you mount your scope on there. So it isn't just holding the gun, it'll hold the gun and be a range bag for you later in the future once you're all set up. Here you can see the Delta Wolf right in front of us, exactly as you could expect to get it if you were to purchase one. I'm gonna go ahead and get the paperwork out of the way. You have a quick start guide, you have a recommended maintenance, and then you have your warranty card and quality check. All of that stuff is good information, so be sure and look through that thoroughly. Some of the parts away from the gun that you'll get, we have a magazine. This one is a 22 caliber, so this is a 22 caliber magazine. You have the quick connect device for putting air in the rifle. You will get a USB-C charging cable. This gun is electronic and it has a quick USB on the side. So this is the way that you can charge the gun. You have the adapter. This is what goes into the wall for the USB-C. So one end goes into your gun, this end goes into your wall. And then the other thing that comes in here are just a breech seal, a dowty seal. Those are both replacements. And then a couple little wrenches here for tuning the triggers. And then obviously, of course, the main event is the Daystate Delta Wolf. This one in the case, and the one we're gonna be looking at today, is the carbine with the 17-inch barrel, but it is also available in a longer 23-inch barrel. So you have 2 different barrel lengths to choose from in the Delta Wolf, and then you have 2 different color options. The black here is the tactical, and then the one we're really gonna be looking at today is in the bronze configuration. So 2 different barrel lengths, 2 different colors. You can choose whichever you want, and the coolest thing is, other than the colors, everything else is interchangeable. Barrels can be swapped from long to short, short to long. You can go with longer bottles. The gun is very customizable, and you don't limit yourself at the start. So if you get the 17-inch barrel, you can always add a 23-inch barrel. The power performance and all of that will be the same. It just needs to be programmed into the computer based on which one you're shooting. So that is a quick unboxing, but hopefully a thorough one that gives you an idea of what you can expect when you're opening it up, and hopefully leaves no questions as to what some of these items are for you. So we got that one as it would come out of the box. I've already gone ahead and set this one up for our video today. And as you can see, it's the different colors. So this is the bronze Daystate Delta Wolf carbine with the 17-inch barrel. The other length version that you can do in the barrel is the high power, they call it, the 23-inch barrel. So you can see the barrel sticks out a little bit further than the bottle, and then this one is finished in the black. So you have black, bronze, 17-inch, 23-inch. That covers all the different configurations you could get the Delta Wolf in. On the 17-inch shorter barrels, those are available in 177 and 22 only. On the long barrels, you can get 177, 22, 25, or 30 caliber. And like we said, you can add a 23 if you want, or you can purchase it up front with the 23, but the one we're really gonna be looking at closely today is the 17-inch barrel. We're gonna highlight the features for the Delta Wolf starting at the back. This is the butt plate, and it's pretty solid, but it's also how you access your battery. So there is a release lever on the bottom here. If you pull that in, that simply slides down, and now you have access to the battery port right there. So if you ever want to charge the battery outside of the gun, you can pull it out right here. Or more importantly, if you ever need to change calibers, this is where you get to get the probe out. You pull the battery, and then right there is where the pellet probe will come in and out of the housing that it's in. And you can see on the front, this is a USB-C quick connect right there. So if you want to charge it without pulling the battery out, plug it in right there. It does charge a little bit slower, this method. It's kind of a trickle charger, but if you have the ability to charge it overnight or something like that, plug that in, your battery should be good to go. On this side of the firing control unit, there's this little touch screen, and if I turn the gun into fire mode, it lights up. It is a touch screen, and it is basically the user interface. This is how you tell the computer what you want. This is how you change calibers and let the gun know you're changing calibers. This is kind of the brain, so to speak, of all the tuning on this gun. Just quickly to show you, if you put the gun in safe, open up the bolt and hold it for 4 seconds, 2, 3, 4, that lock goes away. So the default screen here just tells you, so like right now, its active set is, I'm in the factory mode right now because it says 22 caliber, 17-inch barrel, and I'm using 18.13 is what the setup I'm in right now. And then I'm looking for 900 feet per second. So that's just a quick reference to know where the gun is. Right now I'm in factory mode with JSB 18.1s looking for 900 feet per second. If I wanted to make a change or anything like that, that is my first one that comes up is factory mode. The next one is advanced shot mode. That is where you hardwire the numbers in and you don't, the chronograph will still read out and tell you a velocity here, but the computer is not putting its finger on the scale at all. It is just allowing those numbers to go over and over and over again. So in factory mode, in theory, you'd probably see a little bit more deviation in the velocity over the course of a shot string. Whereas the advanced mode with everything staying fixed, you should see, in the way I see it, you'll probably see a little more shots per fill and a tiny bit more consistency. With the Huma regulator, it's incredibly consistent as it is, but in the advanced mode, that's kind of telling the computer, quit being a smart computer and just do exactly what I'm programming into you. So in the advanced mode, that's where you can custom set your tunes. And again, we'll talk about that at 20 yards. We'll show you a little bit more on that, but this is where you would kind of make your own things. Factory is where you're telling it a speed you want. So the gun will auto-tune itself to a desired speed. On this one, you hard fix the 3 parameters and then do some testing on your own. So you would tell it, do this, this, and this, and then you'd shoot it and see what you're doing, and you would make the adjustments accordingly, not the computer. So that's the advanced mode. Magazine shot count. So in 22 caliber, it'll count down from 11. When I hit 0, I'll put the bolt forward and I'll go to fire it and it won't let me. And it'll just flash for a second and then you reload your mag, put it back in the gun, and that's just a way of the gun keeping track of your magazine for you. Night mode, that's just a color change. And then the backlight settings, that's where you can dictate how long the backlight stays on for. So in a competition, you might turn that off where it doesn't turn on. Right now, you would just leave it at the factory about 60 seconds there. So the auto power off is where it'll go to sleep. So it comes out of the box in 1.5 minutes. The only time I would really see that changing is if you were shooting a competition and you didn't ever want it to time out, you can change that. But that's what the auto power off time is. You can turn the chronograph on and off as well if you don't want the chronograph reading your speeds. That has the option right here, just the touch of a button, you can turn it on and off. Rotate screen, that one's a newer feature, and that's for all the left-handed shooters out there. So if you're a lefty and you're behind the gun, when you want to see your velocity, it's not perfect placement. What this does is it flips the screen upside down. So if you shoot and then you look at it, it's oriented for a left-handed shooter where you don't have to come around the gun. You can look straight down on it and it'll flip it for you. So that's a cool feature for left-handed shooters. And that is the end of the scrolling right there. So that gives you an idea of what kind of interface you can do with the gun. And we have done a full detailed tutorial on how to use this. It's on our YouTube page, so be sure and look at that. It'll go in a little bit more depth than we did just there. But on the firing control unit, you have the battery in the back, the USB-C in the front, and then the user interface touchscreen on the side here. So that's pretty much the whole of the electronics. On top of it, this rail runs the entire length of the gun. That is an 11mm dovetail rail. Both your cheek piece here and your Picatinny rail clamp onto that and then have the ability to be adjustable, largely adjusted. You got huge amounts of adjustment for either one of those pieces. So if you're shooting a scope with less eye relief, if you're shooting a scope with more eye relief, that's just a nice adjustable point where you can really set the gun up how you like it. This Picatinny rail on top, it is a 20 MOA rail, so it's got some compensation already built into it, which is nice. Below this, you have these little ports here where you can actually see the barrel. This is the barrel we're looking at right here. And then on the end of the barrel, it's a nice carbon fiber shroud. And this is really sleek and doesn't show it well, which is a good thing, but there is a chronograph inside of that shroud attached to the barrel. So this gun has the ability to know how fast each projectile is going as it leaves the barrel, and it also has the ability to interface with the computer and make small changes to hit a desired velocity. So that is really neat in my opinion. You can tell it, hey, I want a 14.3 going 700 feet per second. I'm in my backyard. I don't want to cause any damage. Within a couple shots, the computer will manage that entire request and you'll be doing just that, 700 feet per second with the pellet. And it's quicker than anybody could do it with a wrench, and it's usually more repeatable, and consistency-wise, it's just almost a smart gun in that aspect. It has the ability to do things that we just don't have the ability to do in such little time. So that's the beauty of this gun, is the electronic interface, the feature set of dictating velocity based on projectile weight is unlike any air gun I've ever seen before. I don't want to get too crazy and say it's the coolest projectile launcher ever, or the most advanced, but definitely in the air gun world, it has the most futuristic feature set I've ever personally seen. Right below that carbon fiber shroud, all of these come with a 480 cc carbon fiber bottle. You can fill these up to 250 bar, so it lends to a good shot count without adding too much weight. These bottles are valved, so they can be removed. So you can carry a spare with you, or the other option you have is they now make 700 cc bottles if you want more air, and they also make a 300 cc bottle if you want to make the gun as small and carbine-like as possible. Granted, shot count will be dictated based on that air size. So today we're gonna run the 480, but there is the 580, there's the 700, and then there's the 300 cc air bottles that are all available. Like I said, you can really customize this gun however you want. Underneath the rifle, you have two Picatinny accessory rails. There's the one just forward of the trigger guard here, and then on the bottom of the firing control unit, there is another one. So those are great for any accessories. Check out PRS. They have a whole line of accessories specifically for this gun. So you can utilize those two spots accordingly with whatever accessories you may want. The grip on the Delta Wolf is an AR-15 style grip. The safety is kind of an AR style safety. It's accessible from both sides. The trigger on this gun is electronic, so it is very light. There is some small adjustment points, and that's what those wrenches that come with the gun are for. But basically, you can lightly adjust this trigger. Most of the time, there really isn't a need. It's an electronic trigger. It kind of feels like a mouse click, and it really is an impressive feature set of the gun. Being a bullpup gun, you don't have to have a linkage that runs to the trigger. You don't have to have anything that runs really long because it's done electronically. So you get the best of both worlds. You get a small gun where the trigger sits in front of where the barrel loads, and you don't have any linkage arms or anything like that, just a crisp electronic trigger right there. Up to the side of the barrel here, you have two additional Picatinny accessory rails. So two underneath, two on the side. It's really friendly to any kind of accessories you may want to add to it. And then you have one hard gauge here right next to the bottle. This is telling you how much pressure is available inside of your carbon fiber bottle. If we turn the screen on, there's one other reading in the top left corner up here, and that's where your regulator pressure is. So the gauge right here next to the bottle reads bottle pressure. The electronic gauge back on the screen here tells you what the regulator is set at. On the end of the shroud, it is threaded. This is the standard 1/2 inch by 20, so you can put a 0 dB on there if it's a little too noisy for you. But that sits right on the end of the shroud and allows you for any kind of quieting accessory you may want. The main body of this gun is very sleek in its design. It's all one piece here, the chassis or the monoblock, whatever you want to call it. This piece from here to here is all one piece. It houses your plenum, it houses where the barrel goes. It's really sleek in its design. It doesn't have anything bolted on or added on after the fact. Everything on this gun, it just kind of flows very smoothly. And for the amount of power that's capable on it, it's really an elegant design, and really something that Daystate does well is keep everything very simple in looks, but really, really feature rich. So the Delta Wolf is definitely no exception to that rule, and Daystate's done a really good job of giving you a lot of power potential without having anything bulky or out having anything sticking off of the gun that doesn't look like it should be there. It is a side lever operation. It can be switched either side, and with the AR grips, it makes this gun a completely ambidextrous option. So you can switch the bolt to the left side, you can flip the cheek piece to come onto the left side, and pretty much with those two things, you have a gun that's truly set up for a left-handed shooter. So it's not that it's friendly to left-handers, it can be assembled completely for a left-handed shooter. In between the barrel and the bottle here, you have this little knurled knob. This is where you adjust the regulator actually. Each Daystate Delta Wolf comes standard with a Huma regulator. Daystate and Brocock are the only manufacturers that have Huma regulators as OEM parts. And this right here is the adjustment point on it. So if you want to increase the pressure, it can be turned up at any point. If you need to decrease it, you want to take the bottle off and you want to dry fire the gun until it's empty. So you can turn down the regulator when the gun's empty, or you can turn it up at any point if it's pressurized or not. The amount of adjustment you can do without any tools is one of a kind. There's no other gun like it that doesn't require 3 different Allen wrenches and some mechanical know-how. It can all be done with the user interface screen here, the adjustment knob here. That's basically all you need to really tune this gun. On the very bottom, next to the trigger guard, there is a little magnetic cap that you just push in like that. That's a dust cover for your quick connect. So this is where you'd put air in the gun, but you wouldn't know it because they have that really sleek cap. So kind of like I mentioned earlier, everything is done so smoothly with this gun. That's no exception. They almost hide the quick connect so you can't even see it unless you know what you're looking for. Delta Wolves are available in 177, 22, 25, and 30 caliber. You have a 13 shot, a 177 mag, an 11 shot, 22 caliber mag, a 10 shot, 25 caliber mag, and a 9 shot, 30 caliber mag. And with the magazines, the way that this breech is built, they can be loaded from either side. So if you're a left-handed shooter or right-handed shooter, you can decide which side you want the magazine to load from. And also they have magnets on the bottom of them, so you can link 2 magazines together, have one come in from this side, one sticks right there. When one's empty, you just push the next one over. So in theory, like 22, I have 11 shots in one mag. If I get 2 mags, I can double them up, and now I have 22 shots readily available without having to reload, without having to do anything other than just slide that piece over. So that's the feature set. Looking at the gun externally, we've highlighted everything that you could see from the outside. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna take the gun to 20 yards, and we really wanna highlight some of the electronics and how they work. So we'll do that at 20, try and show you how to maximize your computer and how it interfaces with the chronograph. And then we'll take it out to 50. We'll do our 5-shot group out there and get an idea for accuracy. I'll meet you right back here. We'll finish this video up. I hope you stick around till the end, and I hope you enjoy the video. We have the Daystate Delta Wolf back at our 20-yard range. What we're gonna do very quickly is touch on what I believe makes this gun very unique and unlike any other gun, and that's the functionality, how the computer works with the gun. We have a very in-depth video that we've done explaining every single option you have through the computer, and if you are interested in finding more about that, I would recommend you watch that video. But what I'm gonna do is touch on both forms of fire here very quickly, show you how it works, and we'll just get a good idea of how this gun operates and the basic functionality at 20 yards. So what we're gonna start with, right now I have the gun, just fell asleep on me, so I'm gonna turn it on. We're gonna put it in safe, and I'm gonna hold the trigger for 4 seconds, and that little lock screen's gonna go away. That's how we get into the system. So we're gonna slide once to the left and this is factory shot settings. So this is where we're gonna start. This is one of the 2 modes of fire you have. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell it what gun I'm using. I'm using a 22 caliber. We're using the shorter 17-inch barrel. Here's where you choose which pellets you want. I'm gonna be shooting the 18.1 grain JSBs. And right now I tell it how fast I want that to go. So all you have to do is tell this gun what pellet you're using and the desired speed. So a good starting point is about 900 with the 18s. So we'll do 900. The last thing to save your settings, you hit this blue square right here, and now everything is saved. It can say 22 caliber, 18.13, 17-inch barrel, desired speed is 900 feet per second, and the bottom thing there, it says 135 bar. That's the recommended pressure for your regulator. And up here you can see I'm sitting right at 135 bar. So now we're all set up for factory mode. The gun is actually gonna adjust after every shot slightly to try and hit that desired 900 feet per second. So let's see here. Oh, always forget that safety. 902. 907. So right now you can see we're shooting those right around 900. It's just hovering there. So that's really cool because I just told it the weight of the pellet, the length of the barrel, and the velocity I wanted. And in 3 shots, they were all right there at 900. So just to give you an idea of how it works, let's say I have to go shoot outdoors in my backyard and I don't quite need 900 feet per second. I don't need that much velocity. So right now, I'm gonna put the gun in safe with the bolt open, hold for 4 seconds, it unlocks. This time I'm gonna swipe once to the right, and I just have a quick adjuster right here. So 900 was great for accuracy, but I just got some birds in the backyard that I wanna take care of without disrupting the neighbors. Let's go down to 800, because that's all I'm gonna need is 800 feet per second. Quick count it. You look right there and the speed says 800. Now we'll put it in fire, close the bolt. 733. 798. So within about 3 shots, 788. Now it's just hovering right above my desired velocity there. 802. So I just jumped 100 feet per second without turning 1 wrench, without taking apart anything internally on the gun, with just simply unlocking it and sliding my finger over. So in factory mode, this makes this gun incredibly unique. You tell it your pellet, you tell it your velocity, give it 3 or 4 shots, and all the tuning is done. So there is no other gun on the market that can operate like this, because I will my speed to the gun, and then the gun wills me the results in front of me, again, without having to do anything mechanically speaking to the gun. It's all done with the computer. It's all done almost like a smartphone or a smart gun. It's incredibly intelligent in what it's doing and making adjustments each shot. So just to show you, so my full spread here is 750 is the lowest, 950 is the highest. So with those 18 ones, so right now we were just doing 800. 670. 756, and my goal was 750. So you can see there, I just changed the velocity 3 times in a matter of about a minute and a half we've been sitting here talking about it, and the gun within 3 or 4 shots gets me right to my target desired velocity. So factory shot setting is one of the coolest things out there right now in pre-charged guns, in my opinion. It's definitely the most unique. And if you're someone who likes trying different velocities with different projectiles, but you don't like taking apart your gun and the risks that come with making changes, this gun does it all in factory mode. It does it all with the computer, and it takes all of the turns and twists and adjustments you would need to make normally completely out of the question. So factory mode, unlike anything else out there, it's a really cool feature of this gun. And like I said, that's one of 2 shooting modes you have. So right now we're gonna take a look at that second shooting mode. So I'm gonna put the gun in safe. I'm gonna open the bolt, 4 seconds on the trigger and my lock goes away. So I'm gonna slide twice. So there's factory. This next one here is advanced shot settings. So this one, it's gonna ask you some different things. The first thing you see is a new set or a recall set. The gun comes preloaded with what they call sets, which are groups of 3 parameters packaged together to deliver you results on the gun. So you have the dwell time, which is how long the hammer stays on the valve. You have the voltage, which is how hard the hammer hits the valve. And then you have the regulator pressure, and that'll dictate how much pressure is behind each shot. So those three parameters, you can put together what's called a set. So these sets or tunes, whatever you want to think of them as, are going to be fixed. The gun is going to use those same three things every single time to produce results. So unlike the factory shot setting, it's not going to be micro adjusting after every shot. It's going to stay fixed. So what I'll do, I'll just put together a set so you see the whole thing. So this is our hammer dwell. So it's adjustable between 1500, and this one is incredibly, there's a huge amount of adjustment on this one. So let's see how far it goes. Okay. Between 1500 and 3900. That is a lot of numbers to choose from. So you have almost an infinite set there when you talk about that being one of three parameters. You have so many options in the world of sets here. So just for fun, we're gonna pick a number. I don't think I need to be too high since I'm using the short barrel, but just for fun, I'll pick, let's say 2900. So I'm gonna go down to 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, 2900, hit the blue square. Next is the volts. We talked about that's how hard the hammer is gonna be thrown into the valve there. So let's call it, and this one goes between 51 and I believe 80, but let's just double check me. Oh, 88. So we'll call it 85. And these are adjustable in half increments. So 85.5, 86. So let's call it 85. And then the last parameter is the reg pressure. So right now, if I wanted it to go up, if you look at that blue box, as I turn that, it increases with me. So right now, you can set your reg to whatever you want, where you have it where you want it, press the blue button, and then save your settings. So this is where you name it. I'm just gonna call this one none since that's what's there already, and I'm gonna push on it. All right, so I just created a new set. Now if I wanna use that, I go advanced shot setting, and now I go recall set. And there is the set we just made called none. So I click on that, and you'll notice right now it says active set none. So where my factory numbers were, it's been replaced with this set, which is none, and those are the parameters of it. So I still got some 18s in there. Not really sure exactly what we're gonna get. Whew, 947. 949. These you won't see big adjustments like we did in the factory mode because everything's staying fixed. Everything should be a little bit more consistent in advanced. So there it is, very quickly. I hope it wasn't too quickly, but it shows you the difference between the factory shot settings where the computer is dictating the velocity and then the advanced setting where you dictate the parameters to the computer. So those are your two options of fire. Again, I think that's what makes this gun incredibly unique and it makes it unlike anything else that's currently available on the market. But two forms of fire, there you have it. That's how the Delta Wolf works. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna leave it in that advanced set and we're gonna go ahead and group a one magazine at 20 yards. See what size group we could expect indoors at 20, and then we'll figure out how many shots per fill we could get at a desired velocity. Obviously that can be dictated by that velocity and all the parameters, but we'll give you a rough idea of what we got. So I've loaded the magazine with jumbo heavies and we're gonna see what kind of group we can get at 20 yards. Alrighty, so that's 11 shots, magazine fed, and I can almost see the exact bull around the circle. They're almost all inside of the middle ring there. So indoors at 20 yards, you can expect very good precision out of the Delta Wolf. Couple that with the ability to fluctuate velocities as quickly and effortlessly as we did, you have yourself a really good fun gun to play with and do some testing and things like that with. So good accuracy, good adjustability. Last but most definitely not least, let's figure out how many shots we can get with the JSB 18.1 grains at 900 feet per second and a fresh 250 bar fill. All right, so off of a 250 bar fill, moving at 900 feet per second on average, I was able to get 120 shots out of this compact little Delta Wolf setup. So that's just north of 30, that's like 33 foot-pounds of energy, and 120 shots with the short barrel That's great efficiency. It's great accuracy. Everything that I would want at 20 yards. So let's take it out to 50. Let's put it to a real test with the accuracy at 50 yards. I'll meet you back in the showroom. We'll finish this one up. We have the Daystate Delta Wolf 22 caliber. We want to test it for group size at 50 yards. We're going to be shooting the JSB 18.1 Jumbo Heavies, and let's see what size group we can hold together. Alrighty, there we have 5 shots out of the magazine down at 50 yards. We're gonna go down and take a closer look at it. Up close here at 50 yards, this is a great group with the JSB 18.1s. I told the computer that I wanted them to go 900 feet per second, so it really shows the capabilities of the computer versus someone turning a wrench. It's very repeatable, it's very exact, and it's very accurate. So let's go ahead and take this back into the showroom. We'll finish this video up. So there is the Daystate Delta Wolf. We looked at the 17-inch carbine version today. Impressive airgun technology here, with the ability to the computer to dictate the velocity using the chronograph, or the ability to just change from 100+ foot-pounds in 30 caliber down to this 35 foot-pounds that we were looking at in 22 in the short barrel, and get that kind of accuracy at 50 yards. This gun checks all the boxes, and if you're someone who really likes cutting-edge technology, this gun combines shooting with smart technology, and it's unlike anything that's ever been on the market. So if you find yourself as someone who enjoys tuning and likes doing it with some futuristic technology, this is most definitely the rifle for you. You'll thoroughly enjoy the Daystate Delta Wolf. So I hope you also thoroughly enjoyed our video here. If you did, please like it, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow our email list on our website, follow us on Instagram. There's so many different ways, social media-wise, to connect with us. So if you enjoyed this video, I ask that you do one of those. Be sure and turn on the notifications so you're notified when we let out new videos, and come back and watch some more of those in the future. Thanks a lot, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.